Hello everyone and welcome back to another episode of Hermitcraft. You should recognise this place as the Wandering Trader platform. So let's go and see if we've gotten any Wandering Traders. And what would you know, we've only got the one today. Let's see if you've got anything rare that we're after. And unfortunately the only new block that we got was the tube coral. Just one from all of those trades. Well, it means we've still got another 31 to collect, but we're not focusing on that today. I have cleared out a lot of the junk. There are loads of shulker boxes all over the place. There still kind of is, but I've been tidying up in between episodes, and now we've got loads of these again for more projects. Probably not going to need a lot for today's project. We're going to go and modify our Hogland Farm, and I tell you, this is going to be interesting for sure, the idea I've got in mind. But as you'll see, cooked pork chops, we are not hurting for them. We've got tons of that stuff. And we've still got a fair bit of leather as well. As you might suspect, we're going to be looking for not Hoglin heads, okay, but Zoglin heads. Yeah, big reveal, right? No. I've probably put it in the title of the video and all over the thumbnail, right? So how are we going to get our hands on lots and lots of Zoglin heads? Well, let's head to the Nether and find out. Now, I know what you're thinking. This don't look like the Nether. That's right, we're in the End Dimension. Because I need a little bit of obsidian. And when I say a little bit, I literally mean probably less than half a stack. Yeah, apparently I've exhausted my entire supply without realising it. So, time to use our Afk Obsidian Farm again. And if you want to know how this thing works, you can check out episode 927 called Easy Obsidian Farm. That's got all of the details in of how this works. And you can find a link to the playlist in the description box below. And before you say it, yes, we do have a bartering farm, and yes, it does produces obsidian. I just wanted to stock up, you know, stock up on lots and lots of this stuff. So last episode we finished up our nether hub. It's absolutely gorgeous. I've been enjoying using this, and of course it can take us to the roof of the nether, which is how we get to the Hogland Farm. This is all I've got, just a bunch of torches to follow to take us there. And there it is, scaffolding going way up into the sky. And this is our Hogland Farm. And I'll mention the Hermitcraft playlist again, because if you want to get caught up on this farm and how it works, you know, there's a whole episode on it. But to give you the gist of things, the warp fungus will repel the Hoglins into the middle where they fall down. And look at that, there's more warp fungus. So we send them in that direction, and guess what? It happens again, and they get sent all the way down to the area where I stand, and I kill them with my sword. So the Hoglin, it naturally spawns in the nether, but if it's brought into the overworld, it starts shaking profusely, it develops a sweat, and then after a while it will turn into a Zoglin and attack everything around it, including other Hoglins actually, which may end up being an issue, but hopefully not. There's a lot we're going to have to learn about doing this, but what we need to do is send them into the overworld, but then we're also going to send them back into the nether where either player will be. So I'm going to need two portals, one to get them into the overworld and one to get them back out again. And so we need to separate these as much as we can. So after the first drop, I'm going to put our first portal right here. I'm also going to try and develop this in a way where we can make it go on and off. So that means that we can farm Hoglins or we can farm Zoglins. For now though, we're just going to see if we can get this thing working, and then we'll add some redstone magic later to do something like that. So that'll be the location of the first one, and then we want the second one to be as far away as possible. So it's probably going to be... yeah, I'm probably going to put it right on the edge here. Oh my god, it's happening. It's happening. And I can't activate my elytra. Whew. Okay. There was always a chance of that happening. And now I got no idea what way I'm facing. Oh dear. Okay, let's level out here. Okay, so I was trying to use our nether coordinates so I could figure out where the portal would be in the overworld. And for some reason, I decided it was a good idea to stand down there. And of course, the Hoglins spawn and knocked me in. Oh, that could have been so bad. So anyway, now I have the coordinates of both of these portals. We're going to go to the overworld and build them. And as you can see here, they're going to be 4 blocks apart, which is very, very close together. I'm also going to be adding a control portal. The reason that I call it that is because this is one that either player go through. So we'll have 3 portals in the sky in the overworld. And then we'll build a contraption to bring Hoglins that have been converted into Zoglins back into this farm. By the way, you know, this is just an idea off the top of my head. I have absolutely no idea if any of this is going to work. Ah, wouldn't it just be so? The portal generated underground. I need to go to the sky. It would have been nice if it had have generated on the surface. Oh no, all the way down at Y18. Well, that means that I've got to rip this thing apart and head up to the surface. Oh, and look at that. An ocean, a deep ocean right below us. Well, that's good. Although now, there is land in sight, thank goodness. It's funny, just the other day I was thinking of throwing the boat out of the tools chest. You know, when am I ever going to need a boat? And here I am, several hundred blocks out. I think in that direction is where we need to go. Wait a minute, why am I thinking of using a boat? Maybe I should have thrown it out. I could just fly over here. That's a lot quicker, of course. So time has passed by as I've pillared up into the sky, putting these portals in very specific positions to match the ones in the Nether, which means that they're really far apart from one another, as you can see here. But that also means the synchronization is done really well, and I've tested it, it works perfectly. So all of these hook up with their equivalent ones in the Nether dimension. And now you can see what I'm getting at here, right? So now we need to think about what the Hoglins are going to do. They will be spawning up the top here, falling down like normal, and hopefully, repelled by the fungus, they will go through the portal in this direction. And due to how Nether Portals works, that means they'll be facing the same direction when they come out on this side. So it should be pretty obvious what we got to do here. We've got to build a path for them, and we're going to use water to push them all the way down to the next portal, which they're going to enter facing this direction. And that means they'll go through this portal, fall down the hole, and be ready for killing. However, that time they spent between this portal and that one in the overworld, hopefully they would have converted into a Zoglin. And I think the chances of that are pretty high considering how much of a gap there is between the two portals. So the next thing for me to do is to build that platform full of water to push them along. We are now ready to give this thing a whirl. Isn't it fitting that we started the episode off over at the Wandering Trader platform, because we got something very similar going on over here. And I'll mention, just like over there, the sides are actually made with slabs, so nothing can spawn over here, and we've got lighting as well. Now in the beginning, it simply just comes down step at a time, but once we get to the same level as the next portal, then we have this simple setup to send the Zoglins through, or Hoglins. I don't know at which point they'll convert along the way, but there is plenty of time for them to do so. And it should also be said that when an entity or an item or whatever goes through a portal, it loads the other dimension for 10 to 15 seconds. I can't remember which one, but as the Hoglins keep coming through here, they'll keep this thing loaded. So eventually this space will fill up the Hoglins as they travel from one side to the other. And in theory, we shouldn't have any issues with the mob cap, because once the Hoglins are in the overworld, they're no longer contributing to the mob cap here, meaning that they will continuously spawn and come through the portal. The only problem right now is that there are other hermits online, and this farm generally doesn't work well, so we might not be able to test it until later in this episode. Now, if I do get an opportunity to AFK, I need to have room in these chests for those Zoglin heads to drop into, and this feels like absolute madness. But I'm literally going to chuck all of this stuff away, right? Because, well, I've got more than enough, and it takes no time at all to come over here and get crazy amounts of these items. Hey look, someone's come over here to fetch the leather. Yeah, I asked in chat if anyone wanted some of this stuff, since I'm literally throwing it all away. And Grian fancied some leather. And look at that. Stupid amount of items. This is more than anyone could need for a whole season right here. So we can't really use the farm until no one else is online, or they're somewhere where mobs aren't spawning. So it's going to be a bit of a waiting game to see if we can check out if our Zoglin project worked or not. But I just read Discord, and Iskau has actually added something to this right here. Every 50 shulker boxes that get deposited will yield a jackpot prize of some sort. So we're going to go ahead and chuck in a few more of these. So it's a good thing I stockpiled them. I got 6 more. Let's see if we get lucky. Well, not today. I didn't get anything, but this is very impressive. I've never seen so many shulker boxes. Oh my goodness me. Wow. So with the server still busy, I figured we'd drop another 5 shulker boxes on this thing. And so I've spent about 20 minutes over here, maybe a little longer than that. Yeah, just taking down all these trees. Deforestation, my friends. When you explore the Hermitcraft world at the end of the season, you're going to find so many patches like this. Well, let's go find out what our luck is like. In go another 5 of these. So I was standing around thinking about just what to say next, and then all of a sudden, the machine started dinging, making a bunch of noise, and it spat out 2 shulker boxes. These are the jackpot prizes for lighting up Bernie. As you can see, one of the lamps has actually lit up. This means that Bernie is 1/10 of the way there, and I saw where the shulker boxes came from. It's this dispenser, so I put one of them back, and I picked this one right here, Second Wind. Let's check out the contents of this. This is a pretty awesome prize, right? Access to your ender chest if you didn't have one, a bunch of basic tools and armor right here. This is basically a great way to get going after you've died. And so earlier today when I was in the end dimension, I respawned over here when I went through the portal because I tend to put down my bed and then pick it back up again. So if ever I die, this is a likely place that I'll end up. So I think I'm just going to rename this and then leave it here. So if I find myself all of a sudden stranded on this island, I'll have some basic gear to get going again. Now let's turn our attention back to the Zoglin farm we were working on, because I have been a colossal derp, and it's probably of no surprise to you. You see, there was one little detail I skipped over when thinking about this farm, and that's that the Hoglins are an aggressive mob, and being in the overworld with no player nearby means they would instantly despawn once they go through that Nether Portal. But luckily for me, Hermitcraft is full of heroes. What a great community. Cubfan was so kind enough to come over here and actually AFK for me in the overworld. So with me in the Nether and him in the overworld, it means that the Hoglins wouldn't despawn. And so now the Hoglins could come into the overworld, turn into Zoglins, head down the water streams, and all was good, right? You'd think all was good, but there was a bit of another problem. And that's the Nether Portal here. As you can see, the Hoglins come through. Some of them get crushed, some of them get pushed out because so many are coming through that small space. And that means a lot of them have actually died in the process of the few that we did get to farm. So I set out to simply extend the size of the Nether Portal. I also put slabs behind it as well so the Hoglins wouldn't take damage if they were inside those blocks, and water streams out the front to push them into the one at the middle. There's probably some better ways you could do this, but this certainly reduced the amount of Hoglins that we're going to waste. And so on down the stream they went, converting into Zoglins, making their way through to the portal at the opposite end. But this time I had help from our friend with the beautiful eyes. Mr. Corrales then came and flew over as Cubfan had gone to bed. What did I say? Hermitcraft is full of heroes. But then I realised on the opposite side a similar problem. The Zoglins come through, they get pushed into blocks. It's all very wasteful and it needs a redesign, but the thing is, I don't want to keep asking my fellow hermits to come and AFK for me. So we're probably going to end up using this the one time and gather as many skulls from them as we can get. And there was a final bit of redesigning trying to address these problems. I made the portal go all the way down to the bottom, which means more of the Zoglins make it into the killing chamber. And so I can actually hit the baby piglins. I lowered where I stand by 1 block. I actually attack through the ender chests, and that means that we hit more of the baby Zoglins. So now the rates should be as about as efficient as I've got patience for. And what I mean by that is, I'm done. As you can imagine, between recording, I had to make so many adjustments over and over again to this farm to get it working. And I also had a plan to make this toggleable, but eventually I realised you can't remove the portal in the Nether because water buckets don't work over here. So the portals have been disabled, this thing has essentially been returned to normal, and maybe one day again we'll use it as a Zoglin farming service to bring them into the overworld, or to wherever they need to go actually. For now though, we need to check out the drops that we got from the entirety of this project. Be warned, it's not a crazy amount, but Zoglin heads drop more frequently than Hoglin heads. So we got 31 in this chest, and we got 34 in that one. Just over a stack. That is fantastic. Well, you know what we got to do now, my friends. We've got to say thank you to Cubfan and Corrales. Wow, look at that. Gilded Blackstone. Yeah, we're on the inside of Cub's absolutely incredible pyramid project. I've got a feeling if I walk forward, yeah, you can kind of see the roof of it up there, but this is his sort of main central area with all the storage systems down below. This place is absolutely marvelous. Oh yeah, look at me. Oh my goodness me. Is that the ugliest head that you've ever seen? It might just be, right? Also the back of it looks kind of quirky as well. So I wanted to drop off 8 Zoglin heads for Cubfan and 8 for Kralis, and I think it needs no explanation, but this is just a much more of a fun way to hand them over, you know. We'll leave them here for Cub to discover. I'm sure he's going to wander by, think, what on earth is this? And then a moment later he'll be like, ah yes, Xisuma and his Zoglins. The armor stands are so much fun. I wish I had a reason to do this more often. Has one of my armor stands escaped? Wait, you're just a golden zombie. And I'm getting shot at by snipers. There's a couple of them here. And now they're all on fire. Oh, we got a creeper over here. Got to watch out for those. Yeah, there's quite a few mobs hanging out over here. I should remind Kralis some lights out the front here would be a good idea. Anyway, on the inside I've planted down some golden Zoglins. That's why I thought one of them had made their way out of here. This time though I've given some of them books. Here in the Kralis Bank where you can trade with the villagers. This guy's doing some trading. Looks like this guy's done his business. And oh, what's that? They're just sitting down, reading some books, lounging. Oh, it is so much fun. I really enjoyed putting that together. While we're in this area, I'm going to talk to Kralis as he's got some portal problems. And I know the last episode we spent a bunch of time on my portals, and I've had more fixing to do. So we're going to breeze through this though. So first things first, Kralis' portal unfortunately hooks up with my ink squid farm. So he just basically gets stuck inside, which is no good. So I've ripped that portal out and we're going to move it to a new location. And again, I talked to Kralis about this. So he told me where he wanted a portal, somewhere around the top here. So I'm not sure exactly where to put it, but he can always move it about a little bit. And so opposite his beautiful diamond office, we've got room for a nether portal right here. And it hooks up with this portal on the nether side, which isn't too far from what we built last episode. And you'll notice there's now a portal up here. And it synchronizes with our main big portal in the base. And our squid farm portal now hooks up with this. I've moved it and decorated it to make it look cool. And that means that these portals here will forever be unlit because they have been nothing but a complete and utter pain in the bum. Even more so when I realized it broke synchronization with our chunk loading contraption, which I used earlier in the episode when we got some obsidian. And that's when I learned that, hey, this thing is completely broken. So we are going to remove this portal and all of the redstone here that comes with it. And so to celebrate, we are going to spend some diamonds. Although, let's face it, we're going to spend 2 diamonds. And that is because I have combined unbreaking and mending. And yes, I've used this so often with portals in this episode and the last one, that I decided I want some mending and unbreaking. So this thing can last a little longer. Oh, and by the way, some good news. Look at that. Stress Monster's back. That's nice to see. We haven't seen Stress on the server in a while. And over here at the TBE, I've added an additional chest and I've just decided to put the Zoglin head on it to grab any hermit's attention. This one, you know, we're probably not going to farm it again, so considering it rare, going to put that many in there for 3 diamonds each. So I just wanted to say thank you as always for commenting. It's very helpful, especially when I miss things. So over here at the standoff game, we put together a bunch of rules and I missed an important detail right here, that you got to put your armor stands on the red carpets, of course. And of course, we need to get all the things in order before the tournament, but we've only had 3 sign-ups so far, and I'm starting to think that I need to do some aggressive advertising. Maybe drop off some care packages in hermits' bases, let them know about the TBE and the standoff tournament. Yeah, that's something we're going to do in the future. But not in the next episode. I'd like to let you know what my plans are for the next episode. I want to give this thing a trial run with its final version with all the new rules and the new layout. And we are also going to start a mega build. Possibly my biggest build yet on the server. And I'm stuck in a tree. But this isn't going to be like my other builds where I do a time lapse. We're probably going to take a couple of episodes building something massive over here. In this part of the jungle, it's going to come over here to this space, and Kralis has plans to build right here. So we will truly be connecting with our neighbor, which is, let's say, exciting times. Also, gotta love that bee face. And so, my friends, that concludes our adventures for this episode, and I got so much in the works for the next few. It's going to be exciting times ahead, so make sure you subscribed and leave a like on the episode if you want to support the channel. As always, thank you for doing that. Oh, and we also had a pre-release for 1.16.2, and it has some really interesting changes in it. You should totally check that video out as well. Anyway, thanks for watching this episode. I'll see you all soon in the next one. Bye-bye.